air quality alter our immune systems? Well, we're about to find out because we've got Dr. Kelly Miller here, a 40-year veteran in the medical field. Welcome, Dr. Miller. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. We're excited to hear what you got to say. So here we go. Let me explain a little bit about Dr. Miller's background because it's quite vast. He's been practicing as a chiropractic physician for over 40 years. He's a national, if not possibly international, instructor, lecturer. He's on nutritional and hormonal aspects of heart health. He's board certified in thermography, thermography, we'll figure that out. Industrial occupational health, he's board certified in acupuncture, meridian. He's board certified in naturopathic physician. He's a fellow of Brazil American Academy of Aging and Regenerative Medicine. He's certified functional diagnostic and functional medicine. And he's, of course, a doctor of chiropractic for over 40 years. So we're going to find out right now how air quality impacts our immune system. We're going to welcome right now the holistic brain guru, Dr. Kelly Miller. So hi, Dr. Miller. I'll turn it over to you now.
Good morning. Yeah, I just think this is such an appropriate time. You know, everybody is indoors, or we've been encouraged to stay indoors, and with the coronavirus. And I just wanted to make everybody a little bit more aware of potential problems in the indoor air, and something, remedies for that. But I would certainly encourage everybody to get some sunshine, get some vitamin D therapy, get outside and get some fresh air. The problem with our indoor air is it's anywhere from 2 to 8 times more toxic than whatever is outside. And the World Health Organization tells us that 70% of us live in areas where our air is suspect. So getting our indoor air quality better is very important to our overall health.
Does it help to open the doors and let the breeze go through like we always thought growing up?
Well, absolutely. I think because whatever, I'm in Florida, so it's pretty warm most of the time. So a lot of people are inside the air conditioning. So whatever is inside your home is just getting concentrated over and over and over and over again. So yeah, you want to get some fresh air and get in there.
I guess we should clean our filters or change our filters on our air system a little more often than normal. Would that help?
Well, that's one thing. So when we talk about, like, most of us have something called a HEPA filter.
Okay.
Well, everybody knows, I'm pretty conscious of a HEPA filter. HEPA filters go down to what's the size of 0.3 microns. Okay, so it's really small, or fairly small, but actually, your hair follicles are a little bigger than that. So just give you a perspective. But have you ever, we've all probably done this, where we've gone into early morning and we pulled back the curtains and where the sun is streaming through, and we see all these particles floating in the air.
Yes.
Yeah, those are called PM, particulate matter 2.5. And what it means is they're smaller than the 0.3 microns. And these actually can go through our nose and go through our blood-brain barrier into our brain, and it can create what we call a sympathetic response, or the fight-flight response. So our body is reacting as if we're physically attacked. And this has been done through something called heart rate variability, which we can measure the nervous system function. So we want to talk about how can we reduce those 2.5 particulates.
Wow. So let's get this straight. So if we're anywhere and we're sucking in all those little particles and we go into flight or fight mode, then does that mean our body's not fighting as hard to get rid of a virus because it's fighting to get rid of those little particles?
Right, because it's already under stress. So when we do something called heart rate variability, which measures the nervous system function. So it measures the percentage of the fight flight versus the rest and digest, the parasympathetic nervous system, and our hormonal system. And what we find in today's world, 9 out of 10 people are in this fight flight response. So when we get to
Nine
fight
out of 10 people every day.
every day, yes. So we've got to work at reducing that. And this causes cortisol. So cortisol causes a reaction. And, you know, just listening to the news right now would cause a cortisol reaction for most people, if you would believe everything that you hear. But what happens is when we're in emergency mode, it's not important for our immune system to function well, see, because we've got this big old bear chasing us, you know, thinking back in time, but now we have other things that, you know, these thoughts in our head that are stressing us out. So yeah, so we want to get the indoor air, and the indoor air can cause inflammation. And we know that this coronavirus is going to attack our lungs as the most susceptible. So we want to reduce inflammation in our lungs.
Okay. So those little particles that are flying around, are those outside too?
Yes, but they're more concentrated inside the air.
Probably by 1,000 times more concentrated inside.
Yeah, it's anywhere from 200 to 800 times more, depending on the, you know, individual's home, depending on their own situation.
Okay, so in the morning, at least open the doors, open some windows, let it all blow out, right?
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, what we do is we lecture to doctors in continuing education. We educate them about the different technologies out there. So I think maybe we should talk about air purification systems, you know, what's out there, what's available, kind of educate people on different things and making better choices.
Okay, let's talk a little. So they would just call their heating and cooling company, have them come out and talk to them, or are there specialists that just deals in this air purification?
Yeah, well, there's different things. So we talk about the HEPA filter. That's the most common. Okay. And those can be, you know, this thick. They make them this thick, you know, mega HEPA filters. But again, they're only going to go down to a certain size. So the bacteria, mold, and virus are smaller than that. So we need something smaller to scoop those up. Okay. So different technologies out there. There's something called ultraviolet light, ultraviolet C, which helps kill pathogens. That's out there. There's something called ionization, and the newest technology is called brush ionization, and these create negative ions. And the negative ions, most of these things that are bad in the air are positively charged, so they bind with them. And there's ozone. I want to talk about ozone because there's a lot of misunderstanding or misconceptions about ozone. Ozone is not healthy to breathe. Okay, so it's not good for you to breathe it. It's not good for your animals to breathe it. It causes respiratory distress. It can cause people go into an asthma attack. So that's not something. Now, some people.
Well, what is ozone? Sorry, I have to ask if I don't know.
Well, it's an O3 molecule, and it's the problem with in your home, besides causing respiratory distress, it oxidizes plastic. So we got all kinds of plastic in our home. So that's a problem.
So ozone is just your air in your house?
No, there's ozone. People are selling ozone air purification systems. And what I'm saying is these are not healthy for you.
Okay, so no on the ozone air purification.
Yeah, okay. So like a hotel might use an ozone unit to shock a hotel room that somebody has smoked cigarettes in or something, to try to get out, but you can't be in that environment. So you can shock it, but so what we're looking at is, you know, what technologies are out there that we can breathe, that are help us, because we need this protection 24/7.
Right. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
so we like the ionization, we like the HEPA, right? We like the brush ion technology, but we do not like the ozone technology for air purification, right?
Correct. Absolutely. And we have the ultraviolet C, and there's a new technology out that in the last few years that I like for my patients, and it's something called Active Pure. And I wrote about it in my third book, Is Your Environment Stressing You Out? How to Proactively Protect Yourself Against Environmental Toxins. So we talk about the different different things that we can accumulate in our body through our air. You know, like I live in Tampa, and Miami, for example, have two of the highest aluminum concentrations in the country. So literally, we have aluminum in the water, we have it in the soil, we have it in the air. So we want to help protect ourselves. Aluminum accumulates in the brain, and you know, my background is in brain, so we always talk about these things. Why we're trying to reduce these pollutants is because they will cause an inflammatory reaction, you know, in the brain. But the yeah,
Before
I
I
like
forget,
it.
though, I want to get back to your books real quick. You're an author of 5 books. One of the doctors told me. Is that true?
Right, I've got 5 published. I've got 3 more pending publication, but
Okay, great. Maybe if somebody's interested in learning more about your books, do you have an email address or a website that they can contact you?
sure. All the books are available on Amazon.com. So if you just type my title in, but my website is www.savingyourbrain.com, and
Well, that's easy.
we have contact information so they can leave their name and number. I'm going to actually give your listeners my personal cell phone. So if they have a question, they can text me. Don't call, please, but you can.
Oh, thank you. They'll appreciate that. So,
Myself.
a lot of people that listen are from around the world. So they maybe can't come see you in Tampa, but they may want to get your expertise. So if they text you, you don't mind referring them to some other doctor in their area?
No, I'll try to help them.
Or material?
Yeah. So just text me what you're wanting. And so my cell phone number is 816-210-6913. Again,
okay.
Text, don't call. I don't
Gotcha. We appreciate you at least giving it to us. Thank you so much.
You bet. And so basically, of the different technologies, as we talked about, I think we kind of went over them. We went to the last one we were on was Active Pure. This is a technology that came out of the NASA research.
Oh, okay.
So they were trying to figure out, you know, like if they're potentially go to Mars or somewhere, they would take plants. So when they took plants up to the space lab, or the plants kept dying, so they were trying to figure out how they could keep them alive. So they came up with this technology that produced hydrogen peroxide molecules out of oxygen and humidity in the air. And one of the side effects is they found it killed all pathogens. So mold, bacteria, virus. So this last year, this company has gone through FDA they've made the technology 8 times faster. They've gone through FDA certified labs. So literally, technology's just been released to the public like 2 weeks ago. So this is something that will kill virus in minutes in 3,000 square feet in the air, on every surface, tabletop, chairs.
Wow. And what's this technology called?
It's called Active Pure.
How do you get it? It's not a light. It's
in a technology. So it's basically in the ones they just released weighs about 7.5 pounds. So it's it's probably this big. And what it does, it has a HEPA filter. It also has this ultraviolet C. It also does this brush ionization. Then it has this Active Pure. So it's taking oxygen and the moisture out of your air and turning it into hydrogen peroxide molecules, which bind with all the bad guys in the air. And not only that, they bind with things like allergens like dander, pollen. Okay, so people with allergies. It makes things like fire retardant inert. Then there's something inside our houses, VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds. It renders them inert. So it's actually makes antioxidant air. So this is something that, for what we're facing right now, could be a godsend. And,
So number one, can they read about this Active Pure more on your website?
Yeah, we have some information on that in there. And it's in my third book, if I can throw that up. This is their environment. I wrote about this. This book was published in 2017. And we talked about the technology then. This is a certified space technology in the Hall of Fame. And they put it in the Hall of Fame when NASA discovers something, and then a company will take it to humanity and make it to something, improve people's life. So this is something that's been around over 20 studies before. It's used by most of the professional baseball teams because it kills MRSA, and they've been using it for a number of years. So anyway, it's
great.
Very excited about it, that it's going to be one of the solutions for us to make us feel safer, and be safer.
Oh gosh, I can't wait to read your book. I'll get it as well. But just while we're on the subject, I want everybody to know that we're not making any medical claims or any claims, and we don't really want you to ever go out, just like always, and try something without your advice from your doctor. Correct, doctor?
Yeah, this is a safe technology. There's absolutely no harm to a pet or human, so there's no contraindications to it. So,
okay, great. I read online that according to the United States National Library Institute of Health, okay, it's a .org site. It says exposure. This is a recent article. That they've come out with, that exposure to ambient air pollution is a culprit for causing autoimmune diseases. So is our air, or explain that, what do you think?
Well, it's because it's creating a chronic inflammatory state. And like we said, we're creating a chronic fight-flight state. So we're just not aware. It's kind of like with this virus has been called the invisible agents. We don't see this stuff floating around, but unless we pull the curtain back and the sun comes through, but we're breathing that all the time. So it is impacting our health and creating, it's creating a chronic low-grade stress over time. So our immune system becomes overreactive. It's kind of like friendly fire. It's just overactivating it. So now then we have things that people used to not. I'm in practice 40 years ago. 40 years ago, people didn't die from peanuts. This is kind of the thing that's happening with the cumulative biotoxins in the body from air and water.
Oh. Let me ask you another question here. I also read that a mother can pass on for generations autoimmune diseases because of the air she breathed while she was pregnant. And it can go from her child to the next generation. It stays in as a hereditary. And I read that on a very reliable site. What do you think about that?
Well, the Environmental Working Group in 2004 did an interesting study on the umbilical cord blood of 10 American babies. And they found some 280 chemicals that 80% of cause neurodevelopmental problems or cancer.
Wow.
So we're seeing an epidemic of ADHD, autism spectrum, and worldwide. And there's other factors with this, but environmentally is definitely one of them. So what we know about stressors is that these stressors or chemicals can influence the genes. So positive things can turn off a bad gene, okay? But negative things can turn on a bad gene, if that makes sense. So that's where we're coming into the genetic influence of the environment on us and stress like that. So,
oh my gosh, that's unbelievable, isn't it?
Well, that's why we got to, when we talk about kind of our general health, it's in our genetics is what we inherit from mom and dad, trauma throughout our life. Our environment's big: what we eat, what we drink, how we rest, how we exercise, what we breathe, and most important, what we think, because literally us having positive thoughts and being a glass half full type thinking can turn off a bad gene. Conversely, if we're the worry wart, we create scenarios in our head that can turn on genes. So really what we think is, of all those things, is probably the most important, because it also dictates our choices and our behaviors and our attitudes about life and our perceptions. So
why it's important to be positive and smile, right? And tell yourself good things, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this is a time where if people do this, this is a time that people could do self-help. Maybe I wanted to read a book. Maybe I wanted to complete a project. Maybe I wanted to reorganize this, or I've been putting this off. This is the time to get reorganized and be planning for, not sitting around and waiting for something, but be proactive and making changes right now for how you would like things to be. It's a great opportunity for that.
Okay, another question. Online, I think it's called Science Daily, a 2019 article says that if you are exposed to environmental toxins earlier in age, it's worse for you than if you're exposed to them later in years. What do you think?
Well, I think the more environmental toxins you accumulate at an earlier age, they're going to have an impact on your health, because they're going to affect your hormonal system, they affect your immune response, all these things. Absolutely. There's nobody we've created 100,000 chemicals after World War II that didn't exist before. So, I mean, there's all kinds of things that, as we just accumulate, they're going to, the older we get, the more we're going to accumulate. But yeah, some of these, we're having children that are born that are already being significantly compromised. That's our.
So it is worse. If you're younger, it's worse.
Yeah, we have to figure out what's causing what is the poison. The great thing is we have detoxification systems that can get rid of this stuff. So we just, there's different testing. We do environmental testing on patients all the time. So once we identify what it is, then we know what that person needs.
Is open to. I see. So you have a test that what do you give us? A blood test, or what kind of a test is this and you can detect what toxins I'm around?
Yeah, we can do a lot of those are through urinalysis. So we just pick up all kinds of things. We can pick up plastics, petroleum byproducts. We can pick up things like glyphosates, which are on GMO foods, pesticides, herbicides, all these different things, and they all have a different impact on the immune system. So once we figure out what it is, then we can know. And sometimes we want the patient. The patient is getting poisoned. They're getting poisoned by their air. They're getting poisoned by their water source. They're eating a food that they're allergic to, and they don't realize it because it's considered, a healthy food, but it's causing chronic inflammation. So
let's say nowadays they're doing telemedicine. Okay, so I know you probably are doing that as well. But let's say I want to find out what is in my system that I don't want to be there, right? So can I schedule an appointment with you or any doctor, you preferably, because you're so much more knowledgeable in this field, and schedule an appointment with you, then we can send our test to you, or go locally and provide it to a test center, and then have a meeting with you, or a physician's, a doctor's appointment with you later to evaluate the outcome as a patient? And we do that?
Yeah, we see patients from all over the country, and many times through Skype or Zoom or something that we can do that. And we'll look at what their different background, what their symptoms are, what they've done. And a lot of these things are in kits. So a lot of it, the urinalysis, you don't have to do it to the lab. You can just pee in the cup in the morning and freeze it and send it to the lab. So we get the test results back, and we can review that with the patient. Other things could be like a finger stick. A lot of the testing they do now is pretty user friendly. And sometimes if we set a kit, there's different labs that are contracted throughout the country. And if they needed a blood draw, for example, we would send them to a specific lab that's under contract with the company that does that testing. And yeah, so it can be done.
Is there a place on your website that they can schedule? Because I know I want to do it and find out about me. So is there a place on your website we just go on there and schedule an appointment? Is there a place that?
Yeah, there's a contact form, And again,
Okay.
anybody can text me. So if they do 816-210-6913, they could text and say interested in this or interested in more information about air purification, interested in detoxification, testing protocols, whatever. I'd be happy to, help in any way.
Okay. Great. I'm excited about that. So we know air purification systems is one solution. What about fluids? Drinking a lot more fluids, of course, obviously is going to help some, but what do you think about that? Is there some special drink, tea, or something that helps more than just plain water to detox? Cranberry juice?
Well, yeah, I think the same thing with, reviewing different technologies out there. In water, we look at something called NSF, which is an international body, and they will test someone's filtration system, and then they actually allow them to tell them what to market. So what I would encourage people to, when they do that, to look for an NSF certification on their water filtration. So some of them, and there's also multiple different certifications. And so some of them are just certified to get rid of chlorine, some of them are certified, but the ultimate certification is something called a 401 certification, and it takes out pharmaceutical drugs, pesticides, herbicides, and even arsenic, which is very hard. People that have well water are subject maybe to arsenic, not in the metropolitan area, but it's so it takes out 99.9% of all those things. So that's what we look for in an NSF certification. There's probably maybe only a dozen products worldwide that have that certification.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we may have to be texting you for that information as well. So, well, we know it is extremely important for us to have our immune systems in optimum condition right now, especially. So we're going to take and heed your advice about the different solutions you have for the air quality, and text you with questions, or if we would like an appointment to find out what we have in our system that we can do to detox. Can you think of something else that you wanted to let everybody know about that we haven't talked about?
Well, I just think I would just like to say that, for younger people, they may have not had adversity in their life and different things. Older people may remember being born in the Depression and different things, or going through different things, or so it's a new stress for them. But one of the things I can remember, 9/11, literally the whole country was glued to the TV and like zombies for 72 hours or something like that. I would really encourage people, you can check the news in 5 minutes and you can figure out what it is, but don't stand by the TV, because most of the news, I'll just say there's a lot of misinformation going around there, and there's no reason to create undue stress. And the one thing I would say is some misinformation that's going on out there is about our immune system. And our immune system is designed to encounter things through the mucous membrane, and our immune system has a memory. So if you had mumps, measles, chickenpox, polio, whatever you had, and you built an antibody titer through it and you got through it, you have that ability to do that again. That doesn't change. That's just natural law. And that's the way our immune system works. And I think one of the things that they're saying is, well, we don't know if you've had this and you got over it, if you can get over it again. Well, of course you can. I've never had the flu. Okay. And I think people that have probably never gotten the flu significantly are probably, their immune systems are probably going to be resilient against it. So have a little confidence in the creator and, our own body's ability to heal and repair and mend, and do the things, keep doing the same things that that make you healthy. Eat a good diet, get some exercise, meditate,
Keep your house clean.
read the Bible.
But we also want everybody to know you need to listen to your governors, your county people, and our president, because we're not trying to overpower them.
No, not at
Dr.
all.
Kelly's just making his own suggestions.
No. I'm not trying to create a revolution.
I just don't want to get in trouble.
Internally within our own homes, we can have we can get things motivated. We can clean the house. We can reorganize things. We can plan the future. We can, figure out what we want to do. I'm just talking about general things that will help us, our immune system, be healthier.
Absolutely. There was a lot of great information. I'll be applying some immediately, and I'll be texting you for information myself. So, and again, if somebody is in another area and they want to go see a doctor with your expertise in person, they should text you and you'll refer them to somebody, because you know doctors worldwide that are in your same category, right?
Yeah. If we know somebody in that area, we'll send them that way.
Great. And we'll take a look at some of your books. 5 books. What are the quick names of them?
Well, the first book was 13 Secrets to Optimal Health, and it's about the hormone system and how your hormones work. The second book was Micronutrient Testing. So I used to have patients come in with boxes and bushels and grocery sacks full of supplements. And I go, why don't we find out really what you need? So there's testing we can do to find out intracellular levels. The third book was the environment book. Is your environment stressing you out? How to proactively protect yourself. Mm-hmm. The fourth book was Saving Your Brain, Causes, Prevention, Reversal, Dementia, Alzheimer's. And that's where my practice focus is right now. We treat in aging, cognitive decline. And then I was a co-author with Bruce Lipton in a book called, this recently a bestseller called Wake Up Your Happy Brain.
Okay. Wow. I would like, probably more areas, but I'd love to have you back, and I'm sure the group would as well, to talk about the reversal of dementia.
Yeah, I love strategies. It's my favorite subjects to talk about, because our brains are neuroplastic and we can change our brains.
Absolutely. Well, can we schedule that? Now that everybody's watching, I've got you cornered. So we'll be able to schedule that in the next years, for next week, maybe?
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Well, thank you so much. I'm Trish Gleason, and we are excited that Dr. Kelly has been able to provide us with some very powerful information to help us forever, but especially during this hard time. So we appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having me, Trish.
You're welcome. Okay, I'll give you a call to schedule for the next one for reversal of dementia.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day and be safe. Bye, Dr. Kelly.
Bye-bye.
We're at the end of another enlightening episode of the World Wellness Show, and we want to be reminded of the incredible insights shared by our esteemed doctor. Their passion for health and wellness have provided us with valuable knowledge to enhance our well-being. We offer educational information and suggest strongly that you seek medical attention through your physician or other medical professional. Until next time, thank you for coming.